Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's Main Street Electrical Podcast. Welcome back to another week of the Main Street Electrical Podcast, episode 103, 103. I am Dave, and this is Jen, and we are your hosts for the next, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, a couple hours, whatever, however long we talk, because that's what we do. We talk about Disney and travel and fun stuff. So, Jen, we're off the top here. How did you Disney this week? Or I guess, how are you getting ready to Disney this week?
I'm getting ready by packing for Disney this week. So I leave, as of the day of this recording, I leave tomorrow. When you're listening to this, it's
You'll
2
be like
days
3
ago.
days into it. Yeah.
I'll be, actually the day you are listening to this, if you listen on release day, I will be experiencing the new Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot.
Cosmic Rewind.
So yeah, very, very excited for that. So I'm getting my packing cubes together and getting all my
cubes
stuff together. So yeah.
That's exciting. That's really, really cool. And we're going to hear all about that next week. That'll be next week's episode, is basically Epcot and Cosmic Rewind and all of that stuff. And so you were definitely thought about at Disneyland this week. We went into the dress shop there at Downtown Disney, which has
I love the
dresses
dress
and stuff.
I love it.
My wife is totally transitioning her whole mentality of Disney clothes because she's looking at Disney dresses now. And there was a electrical parade dress. There's a Dapper Dan's dress. There's just a whole bunch of dresses. She's like thinking about this, that, and the other. And I'm like, hey, get whatever you want, dear. You're fine. I mean, honestly, I'm such a great husband. I'm like, whatever. Go ahead. That's fine. If you want to get it, she does the budget. So she knows what we can afford. So if she gets it, then I'm like, it's all cool for you.
You're
so
like, it's good.
I Disney this week by being in Disney this week, but not just Disney World. I, of course, was in Disneyland.
Yes,
I've got
you
a lot
were.
to talk about it. I'm so excited. And first off, I have to say I'm wearing my new Pizza Planet shirt. This is the shirt that you would wear if you were working at Pizza Planet. It's kind of got that rough feel to it. It's got collar with the scraggly Pizza Planet patch.
Yeah, what's the collar made out of?
I have no idea. Pizza.
Is it like the same? Is it the same material
it's the same
as the shirt? Okay.
Same as the shirt. Yeah, it's kind of a thick material, and on the back it says Pizza Planet. Basically, it's the employee shirt if you're a Pizza Planet.
Okay, right.
Ended up with 4 Hawaiian shirts this weekend. I don't know how this happened. There was this one, and then there was one I want, like a Disneyland print shirt, because I've got a couple of Magic Kingdom shirts, and this one's Disneyland with all the Disneyland icons, and then there's a very cool Mickey floor, like an actual true Hawaiian palm branches shirt with Mickey on it.
Oh, so I think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's great. I'd never seen it.
One.
So I grabbed that, and then I grabbed the Pizza Planet shirt because I was like, sure, why not? And then, of course, my wife surprised me with a black and white Villains shirt, printed shirt. So I was doing a count, and I'm like, I've got like 21 of these stupid things. This is ridiculous.
You're not sad about it, though.
No, I'm not sad about it, but it's like, how did this happen? And then, of course, I'm online today, and there's a brand new Orange Bird shirt, like just released. Not the orange one or whatever that's like $100, but this one's these cost about $60 each.
That's about normal for
it'll help, whatever. But there's a brand new, like a brown shirt with the orange bird all over it, and I'm like, I don't need another shirt. Ooh, that shirt looks kind of cool. I hope that's there. No, I don't need a shirt, but I hope that's there in June when we all go to Epcot. It's a sickness. It really is. This is crazy. I can only think about your ears and your ear collection, which every time you go, you probably get another set of ears because they all.
I do get a lot of ears. I do get a lot of
ears, and which you probably have far more than 20 pairs of ears. I'm guessing. I don't know.
I probably have about 25. I think I have about 25 pairs.
Well, Stephanie is now to the Jen Novotny trained bougie point.
Yes.
She bought ears based on next trip. Like, she bought 2 pairs of ears, picking them out, going, well, this one, like, I don't see this in Disney World. This is my Pixar. I'm going to get the Pixar ears so I can wear them with my Pixar shirt. And then when you wear your grape soda shirt, I'm going to wear this up shirt with the grape soda pin in the middle, with this up ears or whatever. And so I'm like,
there is nothing wrong with this. I feel like this is
you're so
reasonable.
You're so proud. We can't pay our mortgage next month, but hey, we've got ears and shirts. Why not?
Priorities, David.
Priorities. First, let's do a little news before we get to Disneyland. Magic Band Plus has been released.
No, I mean,
sort of.
Question
Not
mark?
really,
but it hasn't
sort
been.
So we got wind that the Magic Band Plus were now in stores, and I saw several sites that were broadcasting, and I'm very careful about posting, and I think you are too, about announcing news based on which sites I'm seeing promoted, because sometimes I'm like, you've kind of burned me before, and other sites are like, okay. Be Our Guest is a great podcast hosted by Mike Rahman and a couple other people that we've talked about, and hopefully maybe we'll get on a show one day. And they posted about it. I'm like, well, if Be Our Guest posted about it,
because they're super careful.
Mike is super careful. So, but he also worded it very carefully. Hey, got the new Magic Band in there. Didn't say it was available. Didn't say whatever. He was like holding it up, whatever. So I posted about it as well. And then somebody commented on my page. They were like, hey, they're pulling these off the shelves right now. And I'm like, oh. So of course I had to look for it, and apparently the cast members were putting them out early, so people were buying them as they were going out. They're $29.99. They're Magic Bands. They come with a docking port and a charging cable. So Chapek hasn't realized he could charge for that too. By the way,
don't give him any ideas.
Of course, they had to pull them off the shelves because right now they don't work. They were at least
there's nothing to interact with right now.
Yeah, the technology is not there yet, and
or if not activated, I'm sure it's there. It's not launched. It's not launched.
You will know on the launch day when it happens, because everything will fall apart. Because that's what happens. I mean, everything will work wonderfully. In case Bob's listening to this.
I mean, it'll be fun. Well, the thing is, there might be glitches, but I feel like there was some precedence for it, because even with old Magic Bands, remember like Small World with like you would at the end screens would say your name. It wasn't perfect, but it worked like here and there.
So, question for you, Jen. Do you know off the top of your head exactly what the Magic Band Plus is going to do for you as opposed to the Magic Band, just the regular Magic Band that we have now?
Well, I know it will have all the functionality of a Magic Band.
Okay.
But then it is supposed to interact with things in the environment. So, and this is my understanding. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. But my understanding is that, like, let's say maybe during fireworks, your Magic Band might interact somehow that way. During other events in the park, or when you're in a certain area, there will be things that you can interact with. And I don't know exactly what that looks like. I wish I did. I probably, I need to read more about it, see more about it. Right. We learned about it last year, and they were just saying launching in 2022. But there have been so many other changes since then that it's sort of been, at least in my mind, pushed to the back burner for a little bit, because it's like, well, when they announce it, then we'll figure out what all it's going to do. So it looks like it's coming soon. If they already have them in stock, then obviously this is something that's going to be coming out soon.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It does.
So Magic Band, all Magic Bands, this one and the old ones, will allow you to A, enter a theme and water park with valid admission. B, check into your Lightning Lane and virtual queue tickets entrances. You can do Disney Photo Pass images to your account. You can unlock the door of your Disney Resort hotel room. You can also charge food and merchandise purchases to your Disney Resort hotel room during your hotel stay. This is from Disney's website, and we all know about Magic Bands, and this is what they do. With the new ones, you can also customize color-changing lights. There are haptic vibrations that you feel the magic with light vibrations that bring experiences to life. Gesture recognition, your movement enables magical surprises. I don't even know how I feel about that, Big Brother. Big Brother Disney.
Okay.
You can marvel as your band lights up and interacts with nighttime spectaculars.
See, okay, I was right.
You're right, including Harmonious at Epcot and Disney Enchantment at Magic Kingdom.
Interesting.
Interact with the Disney Fab 50 character collection, the golden sculptures spread throughout the Walt Disney World theme park. So I have heard that they are putting little things on the statues. I've seen reports that they're seeing cast members and stuff putting things on these statues so that they will interact. Yeah. So I guess when you go to Mad Hatter, Mad Hatter will say something to you. When you go to the
that's cool.
To the Goofy statue there at the hub, it will say something.
He'll say something.
Become a bounty hunter in a galaxy far, far away. Track down virtual bounties with your band throughout the Black Spire Outpost. So this is what's debuting as part of the 50th anniversary collection. It will allow you to engage with Disney moments like never before as it reacts to park interactions with lighting effects and gesture recognition, coming to Walt Disney World Resort later this year. Walt Disney World, not Disneyland, by the way. There was a cast member in Disneyland that I made a joke about getting my Magic Band out, and they were like, I heard it's coming. It might be coming to Disneyland. There's no reports that it's coming to Disneyland. I think Disneyland may be like, we don't want Magic Band here. We don't want the trouble. There's a reason our systems work and yours don't. We're good. We're good.
I mean,
So next up, the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party tickets are on sale because the party is back. Jen, we have the party.
Thank goodness.
Once again.
Not Boo Bash.
37 nights through October, from August 12th through
That's a nice amount of nights.
It's crazy. The Boo Bash, of course, is not coming back. Well, we don't know that it's coming back. They still could do it.
They could, but I don't think that they're going to do Boo Bash and Not So Scary. I think Boo Bash was like instead of Not So Scary. Yep. It was like modify.
Resort guests can get their tickets, I believe, on May 12th. Everybody else on May 18th. So they will be having these great parties coming. The Not So Scary party like we remember it. Full crowds and everything, no masks and stuff. And so you'll get the character interactions, all the character hugs, and the autographs. I'm assuming Jack Skellington will be there. Probably Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which are traditionally at these parties. Mm-hmm. Jen, do you think this means we'll get a Christmas party as well?
I can't imagine that they would. I mean, considering that last year they did, whatever their version, it wasn't Boo Bash. It was Very Merry. No.
It was like the Christmas hours party or something.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what they called it. It wasn't quite as catchy as Boo Bash. So I don't see any way that they're going to bring back the Not So Scary and not bring back the Very Merry Christmas party. I can't imagine that or wrap my brain around it. So of course we don't have any dates. We don't have any information. Don't add us. We'll let you know.
We don't have dates for Christmas. We've got the dates for the Halloween party, which are exciting. The dates basically all through August, 12, 16, 19, 23, 26, 30. September 2, 5, 9, 11, 13, 16, 18, 20, 23, 25, 27, 29, and 30. And of course, a bunch of dates in October as well, from the 2nd all the way up to the 31st. Most Sundays, most Tuesdays, and several Thursdays are included in this. Even some Fridays as well. Disney World Pass holders and Vacation Club members may purchase specially priced tickets for the selected event. The ticket costs themselves are going to start around like $139, I believe. No, $109, and go all the way up to $199.
Yes, which I'm guessing $199 will be like Halloween.
Yeah, and that actually will sell out quickly.
Before.
Yep. I've already got several clients, several guests that have called me and said, hey, we want our Halloween tickets. Some of the highlights for the party: the Headless Horseman will ride his ghostly steed down Main Street, USA. We get all the candy, M&M's, Skittles stickers, which I'm assuming are maybe sponsors of the show. Hocus Pocus is a big emphasis on this party.
Huge emphasis. And Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington, too. The Sanderson sisters during the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular show.
Yep.
It'll be happening. We get overlays for Space Mountain, Mad Tea Party, Pirates of the Caribbean, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. Jack Skellington will host the Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular, a nighttime extravaganza. That's the fireworks, so not the Boo to You, but the Not So Spooky Spectacular. Menu items inspired by fall flavors and Halloween season. And, of course, in honor of the 50th anniversary, they're adding more fun to the Not So Scary Halloween party in the form of exclusive step-in photo opportunities. So new magic shots, new photo opportunities. And when it says step-in, I'm assuming they'll set up the display where you get to kind of walk in and be part of the display, taking the pictures and stuff, which will be really cool. So that's coming up as well. So really excited about that. Really, that's kind of it for the news. Magic Band and Mickey Not So Scary Halloween party. I don't really have anything else because I don't want to say it's been a quiet news week, but
they're like we're sort of, I think, in a lull because we got the big announcement last week of Halloween party, and then too early maybe for like any other announcements. And we've got the Guardians opening coming. So, yeah.
Yep. Well, and as you listen to this, again, if you're listening on the day of the podcast release, this is Revenge of the 5th. We just celebrated. May the 4th be with you. Jen, the 11 Star Wars movies. Have you seen all of them? That's the original trilogy, sequel trilogy, prequel trilogy. Yep. And which ones are your favorites? Which ones? Can you give me a ranking of 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that? Top 4.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, I think number one has to be not number one. So 4, meaning the first one of the original trilogy. That's always going to be my favorite.
A New Hope. Yep.
A New Hope. That's always going to be my favorite because it's like the OG. Like, how do you not? Whatever. Right. Now, in the 11, let me ask you: are you also considering the prequel, the Rogue One?
Yes, there's the 9, and then there's Rogue One, and there's Solo, and you technically could count the Clone Wars movie because it was a theatrical release, and it's terrible.
It's awful. That's not going to be in there.
It's awful.
It's not good. Don't do that one. So in that case, I think I'm wrong. Rogue One might be my favorite.
Rogue One.
I thought Rogue One was absolutely phenomenal. Just I bawled, and I just thought it was so well done. That one might be my favorite. Possibly tied with New Hope because New Hope was it was so good. Right. I'm sorry, the prequel trilogy, it doesn't make my top 3. They're okay. They don't make that. Jar Jar Binks alone means that I can't put that up there. And then I would probably say, yeah. Oh gosh. Return of the Jedi.
What about Empire?
I like Empire. I liked Return of the Jedi better. I don't know.
I think Empire, to me, out of the 11, is the best of the 11.
Really? Okay. I mean, it was good.
Best film. I think it is the most solid film. Maybe Rogue One. Maybe it's close to that, just for the storytelling aspect. Star Wars is probably New Hope is probably my favorite, and I remember. And I remember seeing it when I was a kid. The first Star Wars movie I saw was in 1980. Was Empire Strikes Back.
Wait, you saw that before New Hope?
I saw that before New Hope because I was 5. It had just hit the theaters. My grandparents, my grandmother, her friend Kathy would take me to movies every now and then because my grandparents didn't go anywhere. So she would come get me, take me to movies, and she took me to Empire Strikes Back. And of course, I fell in love with Empire Strikes Back. I'm like, this is amazing. I didn't really know anything about Star Wars at all until then. And of course, I wanted all the stuff. I wanted all the toys. Of
course, everything. You did.
Well, HBO. This is back when a movie was released in Star Wars in 1977. It took 6 or 7 years for it to get to HBO. Now, movies are coming out like 2 months later. They're hitting HBO.
I mean, it's so fast.
It's insane. And sometimes at the same time, they're like theatrical premiere and HBO. That's just the way the world works now.
Yeah, exactly.
Streaming.
Exactly.
But back then, even then, it would take sometimes a year or two for it to come to video. In the late 80s, sometimes a year or 2 or 3 for it to come to streaming like HBO. And I remember Star Wars was coming, and you would get these little HBO magazines, and older people like myself might remember this, and you may remember this. I don't know, even though you're in the early 30s. Like you would get this HBO magazine and for the month, and it would tell you all the movies and when they were playing. And on the back cover, it would say "Coming Soon," and it would have a movie or two coming up next month or next year. 48 Hours coming up, Beverly Hills Cop coming up, blah blah blah, Ghostbusters coming to HBO next month or whatever. Yeah. Well, I remember it saying like Star Wars in 3 months, Star Wars, and the next month 2 months, Star Wars, and next month Star Wars.
Because it was such a big hit.
The magazine came with Star Wars on the front cover and like all these dates and everything.
Oh my gosh!
And I was so jazzed for it. I was so excited, and my grandparents were. I was living in Austin, Texas at the time, and like I had it circled, and I was like in my little like 7-year-old brain, I was like circling everything, and I was so excited, and it was premiering like on a Saturday night, and they let me watch the entire thing, and I just was glued to the television. I was like, this is the most amazing thing ever. And the Star Wars Death Star scene at the very end was mind blowing. To the point where I would tell them, I'm like, okay, so this movie comes on like 10 o'clock tonight, and I don't need to see the whole thing, but if you can wake me up at like 11:30 or 12, just so I can see like the last 15 minutes, and they're like, no, go to sleep. I'm like, please wake me up at like 10:30, because that's the part where the Death Star, no, go to sleep.
They needed to like use the VCR and record it, like back in the day when you could record it, and then...
Do you remember the first time you saw Star Wars? So were you a Star Wars kid at all? Was it a teenage thing for you? Were you older?
It was more of a teenage thing for me because I was born in the early 80s. Yep. So I missed, of course, all the theatrical releases. Right. I was too young to see them in the theater. And then it just wasn't something I really saw until I think I was in high school, and I had the kid I was dating at the time, and then his friends all loved Star Wars. So by default, I then saw all the Star Wars, and that was right before the prequels came out. So we did the midnight. Remember, like you had to like wait in line. It was like midnight release at the movie theaters. Yep. 100%. We were like camping out, like we're gonna go see the new Star Wars, and we did. We saw it like midnight. It was, what was that? 1999 maybe. Was that
the new? The re-releases were like 97,
90. Yeah, okay, it was 97. Maybe
Phantom Menace was like 99, I believe, or 2000.
Okay, so 97 must have been like it was the first one of the prequels.
Yeah, I remember when Phantom Menace was coming to theaters, I had a ticket for it, and you had to we had camped out. We didn't camp out overnight, and I knew people that did. I had a friend of mine who camped out for 2 days in the theater.
We didn't camp out overnight, but
to be the first one in line to get a ticket, and then everybody like that day just got in line behind him. So I mean, just. But he still, that's just him, and it was really funny. But I remember I was working at and I don't know if they had these in Pennsylvania, but Parisian. It was a department store, like a Macy's, like a Belk's, like a store. Saks Fifth Avenue was the parent company. And so I worked at Parisian corporate here in Birmingham. This is right out of college. I was an assistant.
Sure.
I was an assistant to the assistant buyer. Blah blah blah. It was like a big time job, office job and whatever. Still working hourly, but whatever. And I had my ticket, and somehow I got caught that day with a project, and I couldn't leave. Like I couldn't get out. And I was like, the movie was like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and I'd already requested time off, and they were like, Dave, we really need you here. We'll pay you overtime if you stay here the next whatever. And I couldn't return that down, so I missed Phantom Menace. I still have the ticket,
you actually have the stub
ticket for Phantom Menace. And my boss, my supervisor, whatever, felt so bad. He was like, I know you had a movie going on. He's like, really sorry about that. So he ended up like letting me off work half day the next day. Bought me the ticket, gave me money for snacks. He was like, I'm giving you like however like $30 or whatever out of my own pocket. I want you to go see Phantom Menace this afternoon. It's playing at the Weather Theater at 2 o'clock. Leave here at 12, get you some lunch, go see the movie, get you some snacks. He's like, I really appreciate you being a team player.
Nice.
So it was great. So I got to go see it. I was all by myself, even though all my friends had seen it the day before.
But you still got to see it.
I did. But my just to wrap up the Star Wars part, my top, I probably is New Hope. Well, no, I'm going to say Empire and then New Hope.
Okay. All right. That's
my
fair.
top 3, and then Rogue One. Rogue One to me is such, and it's one of those kind of things that we watch movies that just aren't necessary. Like we're like, did we really need to know how there was a hole in the Death Star to blow it up? We didn't really need to know that, but they made you care about it. Oh my gosh! But they made you care about it. And one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars is the Hammerhead Corvette scene, and that is where the ship hits the destroyer.
Yes.
Pushes the Star Destroyer into the other Star Destroyer, and they all crash it.
That was awesome.
And I'm just watching it, and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Cool. And I'm in my early 40s when this movie comes out. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was
such a nerd. I love it.
So great to do that. It was an unnecessary film, but I love Rogue One. And after that, I mean, I like Return. Attack of the Clones is my favorite prequel. I will defend Attack of the Clones to my dying day.
That's fine.
It's a campy movie. It's not good. It's
not good.
At all.
No.
But I love it. I don't like Sith that much. I think Phantom Menace is okay. But I love Attack of the Clones. I just think it's the Jedi battle in the Gladiator Stadium at the very end is, to me,
okay.
fantastic.
That's a really great scene.
Except for the whole crappy jokes of C-3PO being pulled through. What a drag, being pulled through the arena, and the whole wooden love scene between love story. Between,
that was pathetic. I'm sorry.
Padme and Anakin. It's just terrible, and I don't like the sand. It's so coarse. It's like.
Oh, stop.
So just give us some Jedi.
It was just too much. It was like, oh, come on.
So anyway, happy May the 4th be with you. Happy Revenge of the Sith or Revenge of the 6th.
Fifth.
I don't know which one you would call it.
Revenge of the 5th.
Revenge of the 5th. That's it. Whatever. So yeah, there's our little Star Wars wrap up. Let's talk a little bit about Disneyland. I was very fortunate to get sent on a Disney trip to Disneyland. Disney sent us out there. They did some invitations. I got to have one. Got to go out there on a social media trip to basically document the World of Color, Spectacular, Water Spectacular, and California Adventure, and the return of the Main Street Electrical Parade. Now, I'm going to say podcast a couple times during saying that because I'm so used to it.
Because we haven't really had the parade in a while. So
exactly, it's the 50th anniversary, and they are going heavy on the merch. I mean, it is everywhere.
I'm for this. I support
much like Disney World's 50th anniversary, which is understandable because it's an entire theme park for 50 years. This is the 50th anniversary of the parade. Of course, the dragon popcorn bucket and the turtle sipper, which light up, are nowhere to be found. We were prepared. Stephanie and I both were prepared to purchase 2 of each. To have them extra, to possibly, I had a couple of people I was going to contact and be like, hey, I've got you one. It's this much money. If you want it, it's yours. I'll send it to you at whatever cost I pay for it. You can have it, whatever. I had one I thought about giving away as a gift here on the show. And they were nowhere to be found.
I was going to say, but that didn't work out very well. We were all texting about it.
Well, I was looking for them. I was looking for them everywhere. And it was one thing, like I was expecting to see people wearing them, having them all during the day. I saw 2 people the entire 4 days that actually had the sipper and had the bucket. And like they were walking around almost like, hey, look what we got. Y'all don't have them, we do. That's it. They're where to be found.
Yeah.
They were gone.
That's it. Well, I mean, just like anything, they're like hoarding the merch. It was like the Figment popcorn bucket that was like.
Random question, Jen. How do you combat that? I don't know that Disney can do anything about. I know there's limits. You can only buy 2 per person. But I don't know what they could do to stop it because it's a free market. You can't tell somebody don't buy a bunch. They just have to get shamed. I mean, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, they can, like the people who are doing the resales. Okay, people who are using their annual pass or using a discount and then reselling for like hundreds of dollars. That's actually in the terms and conditions. You can't do that. Like, can't do it. So that is something that I have heard that they've enforced. I forced it, I think, even with like Splash Mountain merch. Remember when that merch came back like right after?
Yes, I remember that. The Funko Pop came out. Yeah.
Yes. Like, and it was at the 50th. No, oh my gosh, at the 50th, right after COVID. And it reopened and people had known about Splash Mountain. Okay, it's going to be rethemed. And so like the merch was like crazy. You had to wait in a virtual queue to get to the merchandise.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it was bananas. It was bananas. So I did hear that people got their passes pulled over that. I don't know if that's the case, but there's really, what are you going to do? You can't stop people at something.
I have my two thoughts, my two ideas. And Zach, if you're listening to this, Josh, if you're listening to this, get on this. Okay. My two ideas. One, flood the market with them. Just make so many of them that they just.
It doesn't matter.
If it's recyclable plastic, at a certain point you can pull them and just recycle them. Just destroy them or recycle them, and you have recycled plastic. Just flood the market. So on eBay, you see 100 of them on eBay, and they're all for like $25 each because there's so many you can't buy them. You can't sell them. The other idea I had is to make a special popcorn bucket, like a particular special popcorn.
Okay.
Maybe use the Elliott Dragon as an example. Maybe make it a different color, like it's a purple one or a red one or something like that, or maybe a figment, something like that. I don't know, whatever. Not make it so different that everybody's going crazy over it, but flood the market with the regular ones. Make a special kind that only a certain amount have. So for people like me who's not really I'm not worried about the $50 special one. I want the $20 popcorn bucket. I have a chance to get the popcorn bucket because the few people are going crazy for the special one. That way, it's almost like a consolation prize. Well, I couldn't get the special one. I couldn't get the purple version of Elliot and lights up, but I got the regular one, and it's great, and I love it because it's so cute, and so fantastic. Make a special one that if the collectors and resellers want that one, then have them wait out in line for it, have them camp out for it, have them do the virtual queue for it.
Just the lines. I can't believe the lines. It's crazy.
It's insane. So I'm just kind of going to run through an array of topics here. We flew into Long Beach, California. Long Beach Airport, which is a very tiny airport. Regular sized Southwest plane. We pulled in and I'm like, there's no jetway. And I looked out the window. I'm like, there's a ramp. We're actually going down a ramp. And we went down a ramp. Great airport, by the way. Very tiny. Got to go down the ramp, go inside. From walking off the plane to our shuttle, to our SUV that we had, our driver, whatever they ran in, private transportation, was probably 6 minutes. I mean, it really was like that fast. It was so great. If we had flown into LAX, we're talking 30 minutes, and we didn't check any bags. We had our bags with us. We took them with us on the plane, and so we just hopped right off. I splurged a little bit. I paid extra for private transportation for Steph. Because I'm like, we don't get to do this very often. This is the first time we've been back to Disneyland since April or May of 2011. Because last time we went, Steph found out she was pregnant with our first kid, with our only kid. So she couldn't ride half the stuff that I got to ride without her. Now, she's been back a couple of times on trips. I've been back a couple of times on trips, including the agency trip that we did in January 2020. When I finally met everybody, when I finally got to meet Kyla, and all the Pixies and everybody else, and just, loved my people, which was great. And somehow they were like, yeah, I guess we can tolerate this guy. That's fine, Jen. Keep him on. And so I haven't been back since then. Of course, the world fell apart. Now we are post-COVID. No masks, no restrictions, which is great.
Yes.
We stayed at the Grand Californian. And Jen, I know that you have stayed there. Have you stayed there beyond our agency trip? That's where everybody stayed back in 2020.
I have.
Otherwise.
Yeah. So I have actually stayed at all 3 properties in Disneyland. And I love things about each of them. My favorite, and I do love the Grand Californian for sure, but I also do love the whimsy of the Disneyland Hotel. Same. It is just so adorable. So it's hard for me to pick a fave there. But I have also stayed at Paradise Pier. So really great choice also. And that is definitely the choice that is the most affordable choice of the 3. So, and very cute, but very walkable still to the parks. So on-site is definitely my preference there.
That's the Wilderness Lodge, I think, of the 3 resorts.
Yeah, that's a good
lesser priced of the 3.
But it doesn't look like Wilderness Lodge.
No, it doesn't look like Wilderness Lodge. No. It's actually going to become Pixar Pier. They're actually changing the hotel itself to a Pixar theme.
Yes, they are.
And when I say Wilderness Lodge, as in it's not the easiest to get to the parks, but it's still very easy to get to the parks. It's still very easy,
right?
Whereas Wilderness Lodge, you can't get the monorail; you have to take the ferry, so it's a little extra time, but it's not bad. Pixar Pier, a little extra really nice. Walk, but not bad, and it's very nice. We stayed the first 2 nights at the Grand Californian. We went ahead and splurged for the extra night at Disneyland Hotel because we had a 3-day ticket. And we didn't want to fly out on Saturday, so we flew out Sunday morning. So we were like, we're not going to fly out late Saturday night, so why don't we just stay the extra night? Because we were looking at Good Neighbor hotels and Marriotts and things like that. And I'm like, well, let's just do the Disneyland Hotel. Steph had never stayed at any of them. Now she's done 2 of 3, which is awesome. Grand Californian, we had just a standard room. Well, the only downside to those hotels that are very large, and this comes in play with Beach Club and Yacht Club, is sometimes your rooms are very far from the lobby.
Yes.
It's a long walk down this hall. You take a right. It's a long walk down that hall. Take a left, and it's a long walk halfway down that hall. And there's your room. But I can't complain. I can't complain at all because the Grand Californian is majestic and gorgeous. And as Steph was blown away by the fact that you walk out of the Grand Californian and there's Soarin'. You're walking into a Disney park.
Yes.
Which is incredible. She was like she knew it, but at the same time, to experience it, she was like, I can't believe we just walked into a park. I can't believe. You walk on the other side, you're walking into downtown Disney.
Literally.
It's incredible.
It's like the best location ever.
It's so great. The location is great. Disneyland Hotel, of course, is wonderful, too. We got there.
Yes.
I mean, we checked into our room. We were in downtown Disney for about an hour or so on Saturday afternoon. We went over, checked into our room, dropped our stuff off, took pictures of the room, came back to the parks, didn't get back till like midnight, got up the next morning, got ready, out the door. So we didn't really get to experience it a lot, but I do love the Disneyland Hotel. It's my favorite of the three. It's just cool. It's just great.
It's just beautiful.
So of course we got to do the parks, and I'm not going to give you a ride by ride account, but I will say that Avengers Campus is everything you think it would be and more. It is.
That's the one thing
wonderful.
I cannot wait to see.
It's wonderful. It's just so much fun because of course Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout is there, and we've done that a couple of times. It's been there for a couple of years. But now they have Web Slingers, which. The ride itself is okay. It's a lot like I think on paper this ride seemed a lot better than it actually is. It's a good ride. It's not a bad ride. It's just it's different because you basically have to kind of like you're shooting webs out of your hands. So really all you're doing is moving your arms back and forth.
You're doing this.
That's exactly what you're doing. I was thinking you'd have like a handle to hold onto or something. No, you just move your hands. It like the technology locks onto your body position, and you can actually see it tells you to practice moving your hands. So you move your arms, and like there's a little screen on your vehicle that shows an outline of like a figure with little dots on the arms, and as you're moving, the dots move. And so the whole premise is that Stark Technologies has created this little nanobot, basically, kind of thing, this little spider bots to help whatever. Well, the spider bots have gotten a mind of their own, and now they're recreating spider bots. They're duplicating over and over. And so your job is to get a web slinger to go into the city and destroy the spider bots.
Oh, okay.
And there's a technique to it. You can actually like hit things, and if you pull your arm a certain way, it'll pull things to you. It's a 3D screen. Imagine Toy Story Mania. You're going into different scenes, but instead of having a gun that you're shooting with a pullback screen, all you're doing is moving your arms.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what it is. And it kind of goes from scene to scene to scene. It keeps score. It keeps track. There are 4 of you sitting in a row, 2 people, and then there's like a little console in the middle, almost like a car. 2 people here, console, 2 more people. So you're kind of sitting in a row. It's a cool ride. It really is a cool ride. It wasn't my favorite. I could only do it once or twice because I'm like, my arms hurt.
It's a lot. Yeah, probably a lot.
Yeah, this is one that you either line up for. I know what I don't even know if there's any virtual queues at Disneyland at this point. I honestly don't even know. Maybe I'm not sure.
That used to be a virtual queue,
but there was a standby line.
But there was a standby line.
I think
that one they can put it on virtual queue, but I don't think it has been for a while.
Yeah, it's a standby line, or you purchase it. And at the time, we were like, let's just go ahead and purchase it because we were walking through the parks, and it was like 11:30 or 12 o'clock. We were in the park. I'm like, we can do web slingers at $12.25. Let's just purchase it. She's like, okay. So we paid the $30 for it. Not ideal, but we paid for it because we wanted to experience it. Got there, and really the standby line was like 50 minutes. It wasn't bad. Which brings me to Genie Plus. Genie Plus is wonderful over there. It worked so well. Now, the tricky thing is at Disneyland Park, half the park is not on Genie Plus. A lot of the Fantasyland rides are not on Genie Plus.
Correct.
The Alice ride, Mr.
Pinocchio.
Toad, Pinocchio. A lot of the dark
Snow
rides
White
are not on Genie
isn't.
Plus. Snow White, things like that. And there's several other things. Jungle Cruise is not on Genie Plus either. So a lot of rides are not on Genie Plus. The big ones are Indiana Jones, Space Mountain, Matterhorn.
Yeah.
Over the course of the 3 days. And this is with a lot of kind of moving around, a lot of relaxing. There are periods of time we would take 30 minutes to sit and eat ice cream or whatever, not moving, not like go. We did everything we wanted to do. Mostly, we did every ride on Genie Plus over the course of 3 days. Some rides twice. Big Thunder at day, Big Thunder at night. We did a few Haunted Mansion a couple times. Genie Plus was amazing. It's $20, so it's $5 more. But you
get your pictures with that too out there.
And you get your picture with it.
You get your pictures
with it. It is extremely worth it. It is totally worth it. Just having that because you're able to go on, and honestly, I felt like there was always something available. Genie Plus at Disney World. It's a great system, but for all of its faults, there is by mid-morning, most of the things you want are gone. Most of the things you want, or like, hey, what's next on Genie Plus? Okay, well, we've done 2 attractions this morning, if you're lucky. Oh, well, look, we can do Big Thunder at 9 o'clock tonight. Or, something like, I don't know, Small World, not till 3 o'clock, 3 hours from now. Genie Plus, Disneyland, constant availability.
Disneyland was sort of, their system was Max Pass, and it was built a lot like the Genie Plus.
Yep.
And I think that there's also the difference of Disneyland is more of a locals park.
It is. It really is.
Whereas the one in Florida is the destination. You have so many more crowds. And it's interesting to me, people who are like, oh my gosh, the parks were so packed this weekend in Disneyland. Just prepare. The parks are going to be so crazy. And I get there, I'm like, where's the crowds? Because you're used to Disney World. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. And it was like that. The parks were full. Like I had trouble on Saturday morning. My first and only glitch. They didn't recognize my park pass, even though my app said park pass available at Magic Kingdom or at Disneyland. They had to come fix it. Other than that, it was fine. So the parks were closed. I couldn't just go in and grab another one. But it really didn't feel like it was that busy. There were parts we were walking through, and I'm like, this doesn't look busy at all. Avengers Campus was kind of tight, so there were a lot of people going through bottleneck areas, but otherwise, not bad.
But everywhere has bottlenecks.
Exactly. The longest we waited for anything was, I think we waited about 45 minutes for the Pixar Pal Around. That's the big Ferris wheel.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Beyond that, nothing for us was more than a 30-minute wait. Now, there were waits that were longer. I think Breakout was like 75 minutes.
Okay.
I think Web Slingers did get up to like an hour, over an hour. Radiant Springs Racers was like the 90-minute wait. But we didn't choose to wait those. We did either Genie Plus for those, or we just once we did it, we were good. And it really is, and I think you have this mentality too when you go down there. It's the subconscious of mental checklist. Okay, we did Haunted Mansion. Okay, we did that one. Big Thunder. Yep. Oh, what did we do this afternoon? Well, we already did Big Thunder. We already did Splash. We did Haunted Mansion. Let's go to Fantasyland. Oh, we still need to do these. You don't have to do anything, but in your mind, you're like, I have to do this.
But but I have to. Right.
Exactly, because I still remember, like 2014, I believe, we came away from the trip, from a 7-day trip, and we didn't do Haunted Mansion. Somehow, it had eclipsed us. We never got around to it. I was like, at the airport going, how did we not do Haunted Mansion?
How did you not do Haunted Mansion?
I am a failure.
Really? Heather is upset at you right now.
Right?
Heather is upset.
It's insane. Well, that never happened again. We did it twice this time. We usually do at least 2 or 3 times. So Avengers Camp is wonderful. We actually ate at Pim's Kitchen.
Which is I've heard that was
kind of fun. It's good. The food is a little different because obviously it's some big and some small. The big chicken sandwich. I was expecting this large piece of chicken on a bun.
Yeah.
On a regular sized bun. It's a regular sized piece of chicken on a very tiny little brioche bun, which kind of threw me. I was like. Oh, so this is slightly larger than a piece of Chick-fil-A chicken on a tiny little bun, which was good. The sandwich was really good. And even the chicken by itself, which they had like slaw and something like that on it. I didn't get any of that on there, but it was really, really good. Stephanie had a salad, and she really liked her Caesar salad. We had the large pretzel.
Yeah.
And like we were hungry, and I think it was more of we're so hungry, we're going to order a bunch of food, even though we don't need this much food and we won't eat it. And Steph was like,
I've never done that.
And let's do the proton Powerade or whatever. Let's do that. Let's do
never
that
done
drink,
that.
whatever. So we got all that. Oh, never? Not at all.
Yeah, no, never.
So of course we didn't eat half the food, but still it was good. So the Pimp's Test Kitchen was really, really good. So Avengers Campus is great. We got to meet Rhino and Craig from the Disney Unplugged.
Oh yeah, we've had Rhino on before, but you met them in person.
Yes, you met them in person, and I saw them, and we were actually at the Avengers Campus. This was the first morning actually, and they were there, and I'm like. I was like, it's Rhino and Craig. And I think I said that out loud before even thinking about it because I was a little starstruck. Not huge, but a little starstruck. Not like I am with Stacy, but I was like still. And they turned around. I'm like, oh, hey. And I introduced myself. And I was like, you know Jenn. And Rhino was like, I know Jenn. And I love Jenn or whatever. And we had a great time. And so we got to talk to them, got to take a picture, which I posted, which was really exciting. And so we went out throughout the day. We had a reception for the people on this trip, for the Disney people on this trip, a private reception. Got to meet Danielle, one of the head honchos there at marketing, and stuff like that. Talked to her, which was great. And Rhino and Craig were there, and I was in line getting my food, and Stephanie had not come down yet. And it was kind of a come and go, even though the first few minutes were more of a I'll have some announcements. Here's what you're gonna do, blah blah blah. But it was a come and go kind of thing. And so I told Steph, I was like, don't worry about it. I'll inform you anything you need to know. Just come on down when you're ready. So Rhino and Craig were sitting over in the corner at a 4-person table by themselves, just the 2 of them. And I walked over, talked to them for a minute, and they were like, or I said, would you mind if we sat with you guys? And Craig was like, no, have a seat. So we sat down. Stephanie came in. She said, so we had dinner with him. We got to sit for 30 minutes and just chit chat about podcasting, about Disney and blah, blah, blah. It was really cool. And they both are happy to come on our show again if we want them back.
Yeah, it's awesome. Of
course
we do.
We'll have to get them back maybe together or separate or whatever.
To find out about Rhino's corgis. He has corgis.
Exactly. He mentioned the corgis sometimes.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh, he has the cutest corgis.
We snacked like crazy because I was big on the snacks because this was a social media fam and I had to document everything. And
you had to.
I think our favorite was over at the Rose Tavern in Disneyland Park, which is the Grey Gaston. And it's like basically their version of the Grey Stuff, sitting on top of a red velvet cake, sitting on top of a graham cracker cookie, which was extremely
that sounds fantastic.
It was wonderful.
That sounds amazing.
Although it was gray looking, it was a cookies and cream, like an Oreo cookies and cream kind of mousse.
Ooh.
And so it was super good. If you don't like churros and you don't like popcorn, you're gonna have a hard time snacking at Disneyland because churros and popcorn probably populate 87%
that's the majority of the
of
snacks.
the carts. That's it. And it's like celebratory confetti popcorn and caramel popcorn and dill pickle popcorn and this kind of popcorn and that kind of popcorn. Churros, they had everything from spicy churros to 50th anniversary Main Street Electrical Parade churros to s'mores churros. We heard about the maple bacon churros. We got in line for it. We were so excited because I read it online. It was like with like caramel sauce with little bacon bits dripped across the top, and I was so excited about maple bacon churros. Got there. That was seasonal. That ended last week. So we ended up getting the s'mores churros, which were just okay, you know. But everything we ate, we got pictures of. We got snacks and everything because I have something on my Magic on a Dollar page on Facebook called Friday Snackage, and I'm doing a snack every Friday.
Sure.
Got a lot of material for that, by the way.
But
there is one that I did want to mention, and I was bound and determined to try this monstrosity, this abomination. And I actually called it that, and I was told Stephanie, I was like, we have to go to Disney, downtown Disney, and get this abomination. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because Jenn wants me to do this because I'm here.
Jenn did not want you to do that, FYI.
Well, then I misunderstood you. But it was
Jenn did not want you to do that.
It's a pickle cheddar dog, and it is a hot dog inside of a pickle, inside of a large pickle, battered with thick corn like corn dog batter, and then sprinkled with cheddar dust. So everything you think this is going to taste like, this is exactly what it tastes like. And it's very large. It's a really, really fat corn dog. Like I tried to pick it up with a stick, and the stick nearly fell out of it because it was so big.
No.
And so I ended up having to use a knife and fork to cut it, which made for a great picture, by the way, because you see that cross section of the.
Well, I mean, the cross section did look good.
The circular weenie with the green circle with the pickle around it, and then the circle of the batter, and the cheddar dust, by the way. $15.99 plus you get a bag of chips. And so I got it and I sat down. Steph's like, are you going to eat that whole thing? I'm like, no, I'm not eating this whole thing. I'm going to be lucky to eat a third of this thing because the thing is massive. Even if it was
huge.
Dog,
it was huge.
So I cut it open and I took a bite of it. And again, it is exactly what you think it would be. Like I could specifically taste the hot dog and the pickle in my mouth at the same time. The flavors didn't even blend together. It was like, oh, there's a hot dog. There's a pickle. I could taste both. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible. And it met my expectations, but my expectations were extremely low.
Okay, that's fair.
The other thing I wanted there was a mozzarella cheese stick. And basically, it was this long, probably 6-inch brick of mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
They deep fried into thick batter on a stick.
Okay.
And I wanted that really badly. But I knew that if I got that, I would eat that entire thing.
And then you're not going to eat anything else.
Awful. That would be terrible
you
for my system.
You won't eat anything else then.
That'd be terrible for everything I've ever worked for in the last year or so in losing weight.
Correct.
Like all the
Correct.
It would be awful. And so I knew if I got it, I would have eaten the whole thing, and so I didn't. There was somebody next to me who had gotten it. I was like, I wonder if I could ask them for a bite if they wouldn't. No. Ask that, but no. It looked really good. So we followed that up with salt and straw ice cream, which itself was fantastic.
Oh, that is
fantastic. Stephanie got the honey
delectable.
Lavender. I got the cold brew praline coffee flavor, whatever.
Oh, that
like
sounds
pralines. It was
lovely.
so super
That
good.
sounds lovely.
It was a scoop and a waffle cone. Salt and straw, of course, coming to Disney Springs. It's actually already open now with their flavors and stuff, and I'm really excited about that. So that's exciting. And of course, at the nighttime spectacular, we got to see World of Color, special seating for World of Color, which was incredible.
I love World of Color.
Beautiful.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. It's basically it's harmonious, except it's better. You have this,
except it's not
on the water there, and you see all these projections on the water, and the fireworks are there, and it looks It looks great. I mean, it's just
it just, and during the day, what's interesting to me is like during the day, you don't notice anything. It's just a lagoon.
Yeah. Well, you do see the little black spires.
Well, you see little spires. Okay, but like little bitty.
Otherwise, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's just not just that, but also the backdrop. They have the Ferris wheel there, the pal around with the lights on and everything, and there's the backdrop picture up here behind it, and just the vintage nostalgic 50s, the world of color, it's just so great. I mean, like, I was watching this and I was like, this show is so incredible. I'm like,
it's like my favorite.
I'm like, why is Disneyland so awesome and Disney World sucks so much when it comes to this? This is incredible. It's such a beautiful show.
It's so gorgeous.
Harmonious is fine, but why could you not? You could do World of Color in Epcot, I feel like, with not so much of a change around, because you already got Stargate there. Do World of Color, because I love it because it's not afraid. It was showing you the old school stuff and the new school stuff, and the music, and was just so good.
And the way they have the dancing water is just so pretty. And they do that with Harmonious a little bit, but like just how they have I don't know. Oh, it's so pretty.
It works. It works so well.
It works so well.
You can find this on YouTube. I didn't take a lot of video of it. I got some video of it, but like not the whole thing. Find it on YouTube.
It's a long show too, unless
like
they've shortened it. I was going to say it's like the one time I went, it was like 25, but then they modified it. So
it is worth it if you're going to Disneyland. It is worth it to get a dining package of some sort, or get some sort of special seating. Pay for extra if you can. I think they have that as a lightning lane special viewing.
Yeah, they do.
Though. That is one that goes fast
for sure. But that is one, as I recall, that you can hold two. Like you can hold that one as well as another one.
Yep, so it's good stuff there. I would definitely recommend that. The next night, of course, was the Main Street Electrical Parade, returning for its 50-year-old parade. It's restored, and it's beautiful. The lights are all there, the working, everything. The music is wonderful. It just all works. It's just so cool. I've seen the parade before. It's a little like Tom Brady in football. They're retiring, but then they're not retiring, and everything you thought you'd seen the last parade before. Look, I got the T-shirt for the last parade. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. I do feel as if, and I have nothing to substantiate this, but I do feel as if this is a parade they kind of put off to the side when they need it for something like this. We don't have the parade. Bring the parade back. Just bring it back. Bring that back. So they bring that back, which is great. We had good seating for that. They have Encanto now as a projection show on Small World.
Okay.
Which is where we were sitting, and there are fireworks there. So really, with the parade and the fireworks, and I forget, is it Disneyland Forever? I think the fireworks
Disneyland Forever, yeah.
There are multiple experiences to do this with. First, in front of the castle.
Yeah.
The castle's not very big. It's a teeny tiny little castle.
Little
bitty castle. So they don't have a lot of room for projections. So they do some projections there and the fireworks from there. Or see it in front of Small World, where the Encanto is there. We don't talk about Bruno's sequences there with fireworks that are there. During the fireworks, they're showing projections on Small World,
which is cool.
Which is cool with the fireworks. So there's really multiple places you can see this in. We were there close to the Small World area. Saw the parade. Great viewing for the parade. Where we were, not so great. There was a tree in the way. There was also a little girl who had climbed on top of a planter right in front of us. And she was standing there like she was 2 or 3 feet above the ground in this little enclosed area, little fence there. She just climbed on top. She was kind of hanging off the tree, literally hanging off the tree and stuff. And it's like, sheesh. Where is Mom right now?
She's cool with this. All right.
For those of you who remember our story of the 50th and the balloon, you'll find this of interest. And there were, as we were sitting there were kind of on a raised platform. There were still 3 or 4 families sitting right in front of us, kind of lower on the street there. And 3 of them had balloons, and there were balloons just dancing. And they were light-up balloons. These Main Street balloons were just lighting up. And so they were just lighting there. And we're all just like watching these balloons go back and forth. The parade is 10 minutes away, and we're all just kind of
a balloon situation.
We're talking loudly. There's probably myself and probably 25 other agents. We're all kind of talking loudly. What do we do about the balloon? I sure wish Mom would hold that balloon down. What do we do about the balloon? We're making jokes about, a pair of scissors and a couple of snips will solve this problem right away, and blah, blah, blah. 2 of the families got up and moved. They moved to another place. I don't think it was from us. I think they just moved with their balloons. The third one, there's a balloon just dancing right there, and in line of sight. And finally, I think I said loudly, Mom, would you mind holding your balloon down? And I saw her kind of look around, and somebody else said, yes, ma'am, would you mind holding the balloon down? And she did. She pulled the balloon down.
Nice.
She turned the night lights off, and she held the balloon down, which was She
That was polite.
Yeah, it was very polite, and we were all like clapping, and I was like, "You're the best mom ever!" It was great. Yeah. It was awesome.
Oh, to be fair, she probably wasn't thinking about that.
No, she wasn't. I guess she wasn't.
And I think in general, people just aren't thinking about that. They're watching the kids. They're trying to make sure everybody's okay. So it's not a.
Yeah, it's different from the girl at Disney World on the 50th.
That was a different story.
She knew her balloon was in the way, and she chose not to make those decisions. Therefore, she got most of the vitriol. She deserved most of that came her way. Not the ugly stuff, but just kind of hey, I'm gonna.
Not the ugly stuff, but there were people. There were the people behind us were.
Yeah. Well, this is a big deal. So, final thing I'll say about Disneyland, really. Well, two things. Number one, there were several rides that are there that are also at Disney World, but I will say that the ride experience is better. Space Mountain is so much smoother there. They have Hyper Space Mountain, which is the night we were there is the first night they had brought it back, and it's a whole Star Wars story. And the projections, the TIE fighters are flying by you, and the lasers are flying by you, and there's the projections on the ceiling of Space Mountain with the space battle, with the destroyers and the X-wing, whatever. It's so cool. Disney World tried to do something like this, and it was just not very good. I think they have a few projections, and like you're in the Space Mountain car, and it's flying through the coaster track, and there's green and red lasers shooting past you, like pew 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 pew. It's really cool. The other thing that I noticed, and I didn't realize this or had not thought about this, Big Thunder is so smooth.
It's very smooth out there.
Rickety. It is not jumpy or
totally
jerky.
Different.
It is so smooth.
Totally different.
I mean, the ride experience itself, was kind of the same.
It's similar. Yeah.
It's just so cool. I was like, Steph, are you noticing we're not jerky anywhere? And she's like, right, we're not. I'm not talking to you like this. I mean, it was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And the characters are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
There are characters walking around everywhere.
Yeah.
And one morning, we saw Captain Hook, walked right up to him, shook his hand, talked to Captain Hook, got a picture. Merida walked right up to her. There was a group there from a choir, and she was like, "Would you sing something for me?" And they sang a little chorus or something. She was like, "That's very good." And she was like, "Well, now I need to go find my brothers. I think they're bears right now, and they're just getting into all kinds of trouble." Terrible Scottish accent. And I saw Merida. She turned around to us. "Well, hello. Would you like a picture?" And I was like, "Perfect." So we took a picture.
Oh my gosh.
We saw Aladdin and Genie just walking around together, taking pictures with people. The only lines I actually saw were a line for Tigger and a line for Buzz Lightyear. And a line for Nick. I finally got to meet Nick.
Oh, you got to see Nick. Okay.
I got to see Nick. I didn't see Judy, but I got to see Nick because, and if people remember the story, I was at Disneyland several years ago. I think it was 2016. My flight was my ride to the airport was leaving in like 30 minutes, and I had to get back to my room, grab my stuff. I couldn't wait anymore. I got to the front of the line. They shut the line off. They're like, "Nick's going to come out in 30 minutes. He'll come back." And I'm like, I can't wait.
And I can't do it.
I got to meet Nick, which was exciting and awesome. We saw Maleficent just walking around. The Queen of Hearts just walking around.
Yep.
I mean, it was really
That's
cool.
what I love about Disneyland.
Walking around. It was great.
It's a difference with the mentality of the parks. Yep. It's just a difference. It's like, oh, look, that's cool. But like for us from the East Coast, it's like, oh my gosh, you're right there.
And it is that whole thing of like, that's Walt's Park. I mean, it's so small and so kitschy and so tiny. I mean, like you walk into the hub and not only do you see Frontierland right there in front of you, but there's Fantasyland and there's Adventureland, like right there.
It's all right there.
30 feet away, you go into it. And there's not a whole lot of immersive in terms of do a 360 wherever you're standing, you see nothing but that land. It's not a whole lot of that because there's not room for it.
Because there's not room, literally.
But it
still flows. Like it flows.
It's great. It flows well.
Yeah.
90-second walk from there to California Adventure, which great. Adventure is so wonderful. Pixar Pier is such a great land. It's such a great area. It's a lot of fun. It's just to be there, just to do all of it. It's really, really great. So there's kind of my little wrap on my Disneyland. I could tell stories for the next hour and a half specifically about it. But honestly, I will say that I love Disney World more. I will always default to Disney World.
Sure.
But sometimes, you have to leave home and go to somewhere else, and that's what we did, which was great. So do you project yourself getting to Disneyland anytime soon, Jen? Anytime you're gonna any trips in the works?
I would like to get out there this year, and so would Brady. So we don't have it specifically planned, but it's like more of a nebulous. We plan to try to go. We would like to go.
Good word.
Yeah, nebulous.
I think you'll just do it. I think you just say, you know what, let's take a weekend and go, because I think. Yeah. You need to see Adventures. You need to see Adventures Campus.
I do need to see Avengers Campus.
It's great. I mean, we saw the shows that happen, like where the Quinjet is, just kind of a building with a railing. We saw Black Widow and Black Panther fighting the Taskmaster.
It's awesome.
The Spider-Man show where he kind of does the flip in midair.
Oh,
and gets into the building. I do know the secrets behind that, but it's still very, very cool. It's great. I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to ruin the magic. The snacks are not as good as Disney World. Disney World, there's so many more opportunities to snack, I think, because not everything is churros and popcorn.
It's better for my waistline.
But exactly. But it's a wonderful park out there. I love Disneyland.
It's so good.
Very, very grateful for the chance to go. So thank you to Disney. Thank you to Upon a Star Travel. Thank you to Marcy, my grand boss. Thank you to you, Jen, for giving the opportunity for me to be a team player and go out there. And I have tons of videos to post, tons of pictures to post, and so we'll get.
And we will continue to do that. Absolutely. So watch all the stuff.
But up next, you're going to see Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yay!
Jen.
Yay! I'm so excited. Yeah.
That'll be next week's show. We'll talk all about that next week and everything. Really exciting.
Cosmic Rewind and all the stuff.
Yep.
So.
And of course, next 4 weeks from now, because it's May. 4 weeks from now, Universal is what I'm calling it, because guess what? We're going to Universal as a team, as an agency.
Yes, we
we'll
are.
spend a few days there. We'll spend time at Epcot as well, getting prepped for the 40th, trying lots and lots of snacks, because the whole consensus is, how do you go there and not go to Disney World? That's how big of a deal it is. So yeah, we're going to go. So we're excited about that. And we're going to spend some time there doing lots and lots of fun video stuff and pictures and things like that. So Jen, for people that are like, I haven't followed Jen yet. I got to follow Jen so I can figure out what she's doing right now.
Right.
Where do they follow you?
Follow me, Out Upon a Star Jen, on all the socials. And then you can follow the agency, Out Upon a Star Travel, which will also focus a lot in on what David just did and what I'm going to be doing, what all of our agents, honestly, are doing around the world. In many cases. And you can follow my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny.
Yep. Make sure you follow Out Upon a Star Travel too. Because there's so much going on that we're posting pictures and video all the time. Not just Disney parks, but Universal parks, stuff around the world, Caribbean, Mexico, things like that. It's a great travel page. It's just, you scroll through it and you're like, I want to go there. I want to go there.
I want to do this.
Matter of fact, Kyla, I think is on their 7th island in this trip. I mean, she's just.
She's in St. Kitts right now.
She's like, I just came back from Margaritaville. Tomorrow I have to unpack. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Tomorrow I'm going to St. Kitts. And then I'm there for like 45 days. And then I have to leave and go to Bahamas. And then I'm going to the Virgin Islands, and I'm headed off to. And it's just like
she has like a lot of back-to-back trips.
It's ridiculous, back-to-back trip. And she's like, "Well, my husband's gonna go, so I'm gonna go with him." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's why I'm going. I mean, it's ridiculous, but lots of stuff to do. Lots of stuff to see there. Find me on the Magic on $1 on Instagram. Find me Magic on $1 and Disney on $1 on Facebook. And of course, as we said, Upon a Star Travel and all the good stuff. And of course, the MSE podcast. That's the phrase that pays in pixie dust and love. Find that at .com is our website. At gmail.com is our email address. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, that's on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, and all the socials. As our good friend Katrina will tell you in just a moment. Jen, have so much fun.
Thank you.
Have so much fun. Also, I do have to mention this. It was so great getting on the train at Disneyland.
Oh,
we boarded the train. We took it around the park on the train because as of today, as of this release, it has been 1,250 days since the Walt Disney World Railroad has received guests. We're getting there. So, yes. So don't forget, folks, come back next week and join us for all the Guardian stuff as well. And don't forget to thank your Phoenicians.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.